is going to be easy, okay? So that is going to be this class. So stay tuned because this class is going to be pretty awesome and it's going to help you a lot because I know that in the future all of you maybe plan to travel at least to Spain. And Latin America has been increased the tourism, so it is a really good idea to learn the essentials, to the the fundamentals of Spanish. So this class is for this. So basically, what is the most common situation when you arrive to a country? You ask for help, for finding an address, a hotel, or something, a supermarket. Well, so we are going to start with that common situation. So, how do you say it in English? Can you help me with this? Can you help me? So, can you help me in Spanish is ¿puede ayudarme con esto? Can you help me with this? Excuse me, excuse me. Can you help me please? Perdón. ¿Puede ayudarme, por favor? Perdón, perdón. ¿Puede ayudarme, por favor? That is, excuse me, excuse me. Can you help me, please? Because you are going to need help. Doesn't matter the situation. So the best idea is to ask for help. So, excuse me, excuse me. Can you help me, please? Perdón, perdón. ¿Puede ayudarme, por favor? That is the most basic. I'm searching for a mall or supermarket. Estoy buscando un supermercado o un centro comercial. A mall, centro comercial. A mall, wall. A mall is centro comercial. Supermarket. It is supermercado. Supermarket. Supermercado. Do you know where it is? Do you know where I found a supermarket? A supermarket. Do you know where I found a supermarket? ¿Sabe dónde puedo encontrar un supermercado? Do you know? ¿Sabe usted o sabe? Where can I find a supermarket? Do you know where can I find a supermarket? ¿Sabe dónde puedo encontrar un supermercado? Everybody is going to need a pharmacy. So do you know where I found? Do you know where I found a pharmacy? ¿Sabe dónde puedo encontrar una farmacia? Pharmacy. Farmacia. It's pretty easy. Do you know where I found a pharmacy? Do you know where I found a pharmacy? ¿Sabe en dónde puedo encontrar una farmacia? Do you know? ¿Sabe usted? Do you know where I found? ¿Dónde encuentro a pharmacy? Una farmacia. Un pharmacy. Farmacia. But something that you have to keep in mind, and this is really important, okay? Because suppose that you're going to travel to some Latin American some Latin American countries, you don't say it farmacia for pharmacy. You say for pharmacy droguería. Do you know where I found a pharmacy? In some countries in Latin America it is going to be ¿sabe dónde encuentro una droguería? So in some countries, for example, Colombia, in Colombia, you don't say farmacia or pharmacy, it is farmacia. You say droguería. Do you know where I found a pharmacy? ¿Sabe usted dónde puedo encontrar una droguería? I know could be some complicated sometimes, but in some situations, even if you say pharmacy, farmacia, people are going to understand you, okay? But if you say it, droguería, you sound more local, and people may be surprised how good you talk the Spanish. So it isn't a good idea that for some countries you can make a research about that, but in some countries you can ask not for pharmacy, you can ask for droguería, okay? So keep that in mind, it is important. Just right now, you know where you find a pharmacy, a supermarket. So you had food, you had meds, a mall. A mall is for fun, a cinema, food, groceries, whatever. But you need a gas station. Do you know where I found? Do you know where I found? ¿Sabe dónde encuentro? Keep in mind that because basically it is the same for everything. The only thing that we are going to change at the end is the place, the location, okay? Do you know? ¿Sabe usted? Do you know where I found? ¿Dónde encuentro? Do you know where I found a gas station? Una estación de gasolina. A gas station. Estación de gasolina. Gas station. Estación de gasolina. But, well, if you say that way, all the people are going to understand you. But if you want to sound more local, you could change estación de gasolina. That means gas station, and you can change that for gasolinera. Do you know where I found a gas station? ¿Sabes dónde encuentro una gasolinera? Gas station, gasolinera, or estación de gasolina. But gasolinera, it is more local for most of the Latin American countries, okay? So that is something that is going to help you. You don't have to learn estación de gasolina if you just simplify that per gasolinera. That is going to make your life even more easy. So it is one another tip that I give you when you want to travel. Okay, class? Everyone understood? Okay, perfect. So just right now, you just change mall, supermarket, pharmacy, and gas station for at the end. But the first part, it is for all the things. So that's the way that you found hotel, 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 hotel. So it's pretty similar. It is not a big deal. Okay. Museum, museo, museum, museo, museum, museo. What other place maybe you wanna go? And do you know where I found a hotel, supermarket, gas station? Maybe do you know where I found? I don't know. Think about it. Well, when you arrive to that specific local store, supermarket, you need to ask for the cost of the things or the services, for the gas, for the groceries. Okay? So, how much is this? How much is this? Is ¿cuánto cuesta esto? Okay? How much? ¿Cuánto is this? Cuesta esto. How much is this? ¿Cuánto cuesta esto? So now you know the way that you can ask for help, and when you arrive to that specific place, how much for this? ¿Cuánto cuesta esto? Now you can know, ask for the cost of the groceries, the gas, the hotel, all those things. But it's really important when you travel to Latin American countries and some specific parts in the Spain that maybe you can previously try to ask a local person to give you a general information about the cost of some things, groceries and other things. If you go to a big supermarket, you're not going to have problems, but there are some bad people in Latin America and Spain. It is not everyone that is going to ask you for a higher price. So, because they know that you come from United States, England, other countries that used to speak in English, they say, well, if that person speaks English, it's because have a higher income, a higher salary. So that kind of person basically are going to try to increase the prices of different stuffs of groceries. So my recommendation, if you are going to travel any of those countries, especially Latin America and some locations in Spain, is that you go and purchase for groceries into a big supermarket or mall. Basically, is that kind of supermarket that basically you pay with a credit card, a debit card, or even you can pay in cash. But because in those stores you are able to see the price tag for each one of the items, anyone is going to ask you for a higher price. So keep that in mind. You will find in Latin American countries different kind of malls. For example, in Mexico, and I don't remember pretty well other locations, you will find a Walmart, you will find a Carrefour. I don't know, in United States there are Carrefours, but well, I know that the supermarkets and malls could change each another country. The best way that I can to give you this advice is I'm going to give you the names. So take notes, please. Take your notebook and please take a notes about this, because I'm going to give you the names of the most common supermarkets and malls that you will find here in recommendation. So I'm going to give you the name of different from United States and England and other countries that you probably are going to find in Latin America. One of those is Falabella. It is green, Falabella. If you can see a Falabella home center. Home center is in English, so it is pretty easy. But home center, it is known for groceries or those kind of things. You will find that things into Falabella. The name of another one, Carrefour. What else? Éxito. Éxito. Well, I don't have the name or most of them, but how can you identify a big supermarket or mall with a price tag for each one of the items in that way? Basically, you don't have to pay a higher price for those groceries, okay? So basically, if you just, when you arrive to that specific city, usually you take an Uber or you can take even I don't know, a taxi. But in some countries on Latin America, the recommendation is that you take an Uber. Why? Because some local taxis, not all, used to increase the prices for people from different countries, okay? Other advice that I can give you is in the airport. You can ask for people in the airport, hey, I need to pay a taxi, but I don't want a higher price because I come from another country. How can I do that? Perdón, excuse me. Perdón, excuse me. In the airport. I need to take a taxi. Necesito tomar un taxi. I need to take a taxi. Necesito tomar un taxi. But, pero, I don't want to pay a higher price. I don't. Yo no quiero. I don't. Yo no quiero. I don't want to pay a higher price. Yo no quiero pagar un precio más alto. I don't want to pay. Yo no quiero pagar a higher price. Un precio más alto. Because I come. Porque vengo from another country. De otro país. Okay? And when that person from the airport listen that, say, oh, okay, perfect, I understand. And most of the countries, even in Latin America, they used to have a deal with local taxis to pay a regular price if you want to take a taxi. But at the end, the easiest way is to basically take an Uber. But in some countries in Latin America, that could be a little bit difficult. But whatever, you can take both decisions, and even in the airport, you can ask someone there to help you with that. You can ask, which is best, Uber or local taxi? ¿Cuál es mejor, Uber o un taxi local? And that person is going to explain you which option is the best for you. So let's do this as a regular day. You arrive to that country, the airport. You ask for help to that local staff person in the airport. It is going to provide you with that information. Okay? Then you take the taxi interesting about that specific city. In that point, it's really important that you put attention because you probably will see that some specific supermarkets or malls, there are many or more often than the other ones. So, for example, you look for a local store. For example, in Mexico, there are a lot of Oxxos. Oxxos is stores that you will find groceries, snacks, many things. And there are a lot of Oxxos in different countries on Latin America. So when you take a ride or a short trip in that city, you will see a lot of Oxxos in different many places. And at the same way, you will see with another different store brand, different from Oxxo, that is going to give you a hint about that local store that is going to basically give you a normal regular price for all the things that you will need. Okay? That isn't a really good thing. So, in that case, you arrive to the city, you take the Uber, you take the taxi, you go to the city, you notice different stores or local stores that you will find all the things that you will need. And you can ask for regular people in the streets of in these stores about where you will find the things that you need. But in most of the cases, I don't know, the higher number of people, it is going to help you, and they are going to help you because they want to help you. So that bad people that I took at the beginning, it is just a little one. It is just I don't know. I don't have the percentage right now, but yeah, the best way that you probably can identify that is that you basically can ask more than one person and you can contrast the answer. That is another tip. But for me, if I found a person from, I don't know, United States, I'm going to help that person because I want to help, and I don't going to ask anything just for that. Okay? People are really nice in this kind of countries, so you don't have to worry. It is just a warning, but you have to keep that warning even in, I don't know, if you go to Paris in Europe, you know that in Paris there are a lot of bad people. When you go to the Eiffel Tower, it's the same. So class, let's move forward with the Spanish class because it's supposed that this is a Spanish class and I talk a lot of things, but well, at the end, even it is a Spanish class and I try to teach you all those common situations, all these kind of tips are going to help you a lot. So keep in mind, okay? So just right now, you know how to take your ride and find different locations. In a previous class, we talk about dangerous places and people. Even if there are some specific persons, it's really important at the moment that you arrive to that specific country, you can ask to a regular person, where are those specific locations that are dangerous for you, because someone can steal your cell phone, your money, your credit card, your stuff basically. So how can you ask that? So, excuse me. Perdóneme. O perdón. O excúseme. Excuse me. It is excúseme. Excuse me. Excúseme. Perdón. Qué pena, por favor. Excuse me. Excúseme. I need a favor. I need an advice. Necesito un favor. Necesito ayuda. I need a help. I need advice. Necesito ayuda. Necesito un consejo. I need to know. Necesito saber. I need to know. Necesito saber which places or locations in the city, qué lugares o barrios o locaciones en la ciudad are dangerous, son peligrosos. So excuse me, perdón, excúseme. I need a help. Necesito ayuda. But I need help if you are in danger. So, excuse me. Can I ask you something? Perdóneme, ¿puedo preguntarle algo? Just like that. Excuse me. Excúseme. Can I ask you something? ¿Puedo preguntarte algo? That person, most of the people is gonna say, just no worry. Si no se preocupe. ¿Puedo preguntarle algo? Si no se preocupe. Do you know? ¿Sabe usted? Where are? ¿Dónde están? Those locations, places in this city that are dangerous for me. ¿Sabe usted esos lugares o locaciones que pueden ser o que son peligrosas para mí? And because that isn't a local person, it is going to give you an accurate answer. So excuse me. Can I ask you something? Perdón, ¿puedo preguntarle algo? Yes, go ahead. Sí, si no se preocupe. Do you know where are those locations or places? ¿Sabe dónde están ubicadas esas locaciones o lugares that are dangerous for me or could be dangerous for me? Que son peligrosos para mí o pueden ser peligrosos para mí. That could it be dangerous for me? Pueden ser peligrosos para mí. And that's all. That person is going to give you. Yes, you don't have to go that. You don't have to go that. You can go there. Basically, that is going to give you a general information. It is really important that you take note, class. Take notes, please, about this, because those are really important tips that I give you during this class. And when you travel to one of those countries, probably it is going to not save your life because it is not so dangerous, but it is going to give you an incredible help. And there are things that you can do in most of the countries, or basically all of the countries, okay? So, just right now, when you arrive to the airport, you know how to move in the city, where you can purchase groceries, where you find a gas station, hotel, purchase your stuffs, and where are the places that you don't have to go. So basically, with that, you get you just know everything. If you want to travel to one of these countries, you don't need criminals, but in this last part of the class, we are going to talk prevention. Okay? Oh, how can you identify if some person it is danger? Okay? In the future classes, I'm going to show you some examples of these persons. I don't want to discriminate a group of persons, but I'm going to give you some hints, some ideas, and how can you identify these persons, okay? It is basically one of the places when you go to one of those dangerous places. Basically, you avoid to go to those places. Tú no vas a esos lugares. Tú evitas esos lugares. You avoid those places. Tú evitas esos lugares. Okay? But in some cases, bad people could be in a safe place. That could happen. It is unusual, but it can happen. Even in Paris, even in the most famous cities around the world. So, I'm going to give you some specific hints. This is not 100% guaranteed. Esto no está 100% garantizado. Pero, it's going to give you some ideas, okay? So, when you are in regular places and you want to ask for a regular person that is no danger, you can ask the people that have an irregular clothes. For example, just like me, I have an irregular sweater, irregular pants, irregular shoes, regular clothes. And most of the cases are regular people, and you are safe. I don't want to scare you because with all of these advices, probably you are thinking, oh, those places are too dangerous. The best idea is don't travel. No, this is just an extreme, and even if you, as I said before, travel to Paris, you know in Paris there are a lot of dangerous people around, especially to the Eiffel Tower. It's just like this, just like that. If you travel to Paris and you know all those tips and ideas, basically you can go travel, have a regular good trip, and that's all. The only bad thing that you will have to deal if you go to Paris and the Eiffel Tower is the French people, nothing else. Yes, I know that French people, not all, but most of them are difficult people. Just like that. It is the same for Latin America and Spain, especially for Latin America. So when you are going to ask for a regular person in Latin America, just take a look about the clothes of that specific person. Has to be a regular clothes, something like that. But if you look, or you can see that, for example, the pants and especially the sweater and the pants are bigger than the person himself, that is, in some cases, could be a danger person. Not all the times. I don't want to discriminate it, okay? Bigger pants and sweaters than the person. So is that those sweaters bigger? It's just like if look a little bit like a reggaeton singer. That if you already probably know how it looks, a reggaeton singer is pretty similar. But once again, it is known for all cases. You is just a regular person. But there are other things that you have to keep in mind. How that person speaks. Because dangerous people, not all the times, dangerous people used to have a specific accent in Spanish. Let me give you an example. When you ask, excuse me, can I ask you something? Perdón, ¿puedo preguntarle algo? But suppose that you go to that country and ask that in Spanish, okay? So we are going to give you this example in Spanish. Perdón, ¿puedo preguntarle algo? And then the other person, claro, parcero, dígame nomás qué necesita. Tiene que ver la expresión, the expression of the face, and the specific accent, okay? So, dígame nomás qué necesita. It is in this part of the world we say that is ñero. Ñero is most of the cases bad person, and you can identify that in most of the cases with the face. They have a particular face expression and they have a particular accent. Dígame nomás. Claro, mi hermano. Dígame, panita. Choñero. And other examples, okay? So those are some examples. I am not really good interpreter about those, and that is going to help you. It is for your safe. So, dígame nomás. ¿Qué pasa, panita? Another one could be, dígame, gringo. Uy, el gringuito, dígame qué necesita. And those kind of expressions. So if you listen that, uy, dígame, gringuito. Dígame, gringo. Claro, panita. Dígame, ñero. Óyeme. Something like that. And you can listen a pretty similar accents in different countries in Latin America. You can take a note class, and you put dangerous people in Latin America. I don't know if you're going to find that specific people on YouTube or other social media, but that is going to give you a really good idea about that. So, the best scenario or my best advice is you just search for people with regular clothes. That's all. And you can ask for that even in the airport. You can ask that to staff into the airport, not only for the Uber or taxi. You can ask also for those dangerous places, and they probably is going to give you more ideas, hint, tips, and something else about that specific place. Other idea is that you can watch videos about those specific locations and you will have more information. And these days the AI could be important, but you and I know that the AI keep having some problems or gives you a bad answers. So even if you ask the AI, something that is a really good important is that you can go and ask a personal staff in the airport, something in a regular street, a regular person. So, well, class, today we talk about normal situations in other countries, especially Spain and Latin America. Basically, resume about this. The highlights. Supermarket, supermercado, pharmacy, farmacia o droguería, gas station, estación de gasolina o gasolinera, a mall, centro comercial, hotel, hotel, other one, park, park. But you have to keep in mind this. Park and parking lot are different. Park, parking lot. Park is playground, parque, and parking lot, parqueadero, parking lot, parqueadero. So you just basically translate the most regular words and just change that at the end. And with practice, you can say that with more native accent. Excuse me. Perdón, ¿me puede ayudar en esto? ¿Sabe usted dónde está? And other things. With more practice class, you will get it. And in your next summer trip travel, Latin America, or when you have that plan, you will have more information. So this class was about Spanish, yes, and you learn about local accents. ¿Qué pasa, gringo? Dígame, panita. ¿Qué pasa? And all those kind of things. And you know that in some places the accent will change. For example, in Colombia, there are paisas, paisitas. The woman having a really wonderful accent. That's what is one of the most popular places that you can travel. But well, there are many others. And well, those were the tips for this class. Was a really helpful in your next trip class. And remember that you can give these advice to I don't know, your parents, friends, or family. If you even go, if you are going to travel with your couple, that is a really good idea too. Okay? And well, you can let me know which other tips or different Spanish classes do you like that I'm going to give you in case that you want to travel. We have, I don't remember very well, this is our fourth or third or fourth class, and we are going from the essentials, the basics of the Spanish language. If you want to know more, you can go and see one of the previous classes, and you will have more ideas, general ideas with examples about travel. Even if you don't plan to travel, some tips and how can you pronounce different things, okay? And well, that was the video for today. I really hope it helped you to relax and understand a little bit more about the Spanish language. And well, that was basically the class. If you want to have another, or you really like to have another Spanish class with different topics, you can let me know in the comments below. Okay? If you watch until this moment, I really, really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. That means a lot for me. And well, as always, I wish that you have a really good day.